The condition is really crazy condition.
I mean, that shouldn't give away the whole secret to professional windsurfing.
Maciek giving Antoine elbow a run for his body. Here we go. Woo! What a finish!
The guy is kind of talking bullshit.
The team's just got to work a little harder. Welcome to the Windsurfing Podcast, back again for episode 12, and this week we have got another banger. Oh yes, we hear about this, how this man turned down a $250,000 contract to stay with his teammates. But that team went on to stop the dominance of Bjorn Dunkerbeck. Oh yes, so maybe it was worth it. We also hear what Bjorn Dunkerbeck said to him after he'd beaten him. After so many years, I think 12 years of dominance. We also hear what he's up to these days and how he's pretty comfortable in his new role. We hear about probably the most outrageous excess bag story ever. Everyone knows about it on tour, but I think you guys deserve to know at home. And it is massive, massive. It involves 75 bags. So there we go. He's also rated himself as the most underrated sailor of all time. It is, of course, Kevin Pritchard.
KP, how you doing, man? Long time.
Good. Just over here in Maui. Haven't been traveling much because of the COVID thing this year, so a little bit different. This is actually my first time probably ever to be in Maui the whole summer and just cruising, still sailing a bit when there's waves. We've actually had like waves quite a bit. Like the last 3 days have been pretty fun waves, and then we had a swell before that. And so you get stuff done, all the stuff that you put off doing throughout the year when there's good waves, and you take care of it, clean your house, whatever, work on different stuff. And then that little swell that keeps you going through, and then all good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because you guys all have been there now, which hasn't happened before, or what it's been, but it just looked like it's the best Maui kind of spring, summer ever, Like,
actually, I think it was the best spring ever. Like, no tourists, no photo shoots, like Ricardo and Victor and like those guys, they made the right decision to stay, and they scored. And everybody else, once they locked it down, they couldn't get in here. And it was just probably, on top of it being no people, it was probably the best spring I could remember in quite a few years. So
yeah. Do you still sometimes stop and think oh, I'm living in Maui, what a place.
It is actually in doing this lockdown, you've had to get a little bit more normally when you get bored, you go to California or do something different, go for a road trip. And we've just been here, so you kind of been exploring your backyard a lot more, going, checking out waterfalls and just trying to get creative on this small island. And it's been fun for me. I've gone to so many new places that I've never been, in the last 20 years. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of my next question. What does a pro windsurfer, especially living in Maui, a retired pro windsurfer, let's call you that, I'm sorry.
Right.
Even though you're the age that some of the guys are still on tour.
Yeah.
What does a pro windsurfer do on retirement, especially in Maui, which is probably a place you move to for windsurfing, right?
Yeah.
And then windsurfing is not really your main, job anymore.
Yeah. Well, I still do I do all the Ezzy sales testing, and I'm helping them with their social media and all their media stuff. So that keeps me pretty busy. We do the free ride sales and the wave sales and testing and photo shooting and stuff like that. So still quite a bit out on the water and you know, just because I'm not competing, you're still working and doing, you know, doing the fun stuff now without the pressure kind of. So it's not so bad.
Yeah. But you didn't always live in Maui, did you? You're born in California, if I'm correct. And
Yeah.
what was the move about? Was it like Matt and Kevin are gonna be pros, or just let's move to Maui because it's beautiful and we can windsurf? Because your parents were keen windsurfers, right? Both of them. And
Yeah. Well, Matt kind of, you know, he's older than me, so he moved over here maybe 2 years before me, and then just kind of flowed. You know, it wasn't like, oh, we're going to Maui. We just kind of you know, Matt moved, and I was doing like local races around California and in the gorge and stuff like that, and so I kind of knew his level and my level, and then as soon as I got out of high school, I moved over here, and that's when we kind of just really started progressing because we were windsurfing every day. We were windsurfing together. I was pushing him, he was pushing me. He had the experience of going on tour for 2 or 3 years before I did, so he could kind of, you know, he knew the level, and he knew, you know, when we'd go to a new spot, or we'd go to a spot that he went to, you know, he'd already have some things set up, so it made it really easy for me to come in there and integrate into the, you know, being a pro. So it wasn't like this huge decision. It kind of just flowed into, you know, we started competing and doing well, and you know, one contest led to the next contest, and we just kept going from there.
how competitive were you with each other?
We were pretty competitive. You know, we were always kind of happy for each other to do good. You know, a couple times, you know, there was a little rivalry here and there. Mostly when we were younger, it was kind of my fault, but I thought I was better than him, and he was better than me. So we had like this little vibe for probably only a year, and then it was all good. Then we just pushed each other. Like when he did the tour alone, I think he finished like 40th or something in the slalom, and then I came, and his first year with me, he finished 13th. I finished 15th. So that kind of just being together. We were friends in high school. We're friends now. So just, you know, just being able to have somebody that you care about and push you, and you want to beat him and he wants to beat you. And we just progressed that way really, really easily, you know, and we lived together, we trained together, and we both wanted the same things. So we were pretty on it, definitely.
Yeah, sounds like definitely a good setup, especially for the younger brother. I mean, Matt has been obviously super successful with multiple world titles and whatever, but there is this thing like that shows that a lot of the top athletes are like younger siblings, just because it's so much easier to follow that lead of the older one.
Yeah.
You know,
You have brothers?
yeah, my brother is 5 years older than me, and that was my measuring stick always.
Right.
You know? And then for a 13-year-old to look at a 18-year-old and want to be at his level is huge, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess
and I think, you know, you, like when you're a kid, you don't even think that you don't even understand that you're not as experienced. So you just go into his level almost, and I think that helps a lot. So.
yeah. Was it always, because the Gorge series, some races in California, was it always racing, and just when you got to Maui you started getting into waves and stuff? Because it seemed like to be a pro windsurfer back then you needed to be very versatile, right?
Yeah. We wave sailed quite a bit, like in California, and we go to Baja a bunch, and my parents were both windsurfers, so they enjoyed taking us down there, like on our school breaks and stuff like that.
Sick.
So we probably were definitely better at racing than waves, I would say. You know, we just didn't have as much experience as, some of the guys who like grew up, like Josh and those guys. By the time I was like 17, 18 when I moved to Maui, and those guys were already like world-class wave sailors. But we kind of knew what we were doing a little bit, but steep learning curve when you come and you live here and you're amongst those people. So
yeah, definitely caught up quite a bit. I mean, you guys both won the events in Maui, right? I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, stuff like that. You're asking me like, what's it feel like or whatever. But to think about coming from a place like California, if you saw where we grew up, you'd be like, whoa, that's pretty radical. Like 2 hours from the coast in Southern California where there's not much wind with waves and stuff. So, and then to win an Aloha Classic, it's pretty cool feeling for sure.
Tell me about it, coming from Poland and trying to compete.
Yeah, I would say though, even from what I've seen in Poland, you guys have a much stronger group and higher level than. That was one of the things, like when we were growing up, we had no clue like if we're good or bad or whatever. And in, I guess it was 1988, were you even born then?
No.
No, you weren't even born then. 88, I was like 12 or something. And my brother was 15, 14. We went to the gorge for the first time and we saw these kids out there racing. We're like, man, let's try that. I wonder if there's a race next weekend or something. Let's try it. Never raced, no idea,
Yeah.
And like we saw Josh Angulo. We're like, oh man, there's the Angulo kids, man. They're so cool from Maui and stuff. And Matt got second, like in his first race, and he's just like, I was pretty small, I think 15th or something like that, but still, I was like, whoa, Matt did so good just in his first race with no clue really what's, and so that was pretty cool. And then,
but I think that's just that's also like pre-internet era,
Oh, for sure.
I just got to the end of that era, and like I blame the lack of freestyle and wave ability on that, because like I talk to the younger guys and I'm like, fuck man, it took me like a year to learn to Vulcan or 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And a guy would tell me, couldn't you just go on YouTube? I'm like, no. Dude,
Yeah.
no, there was no YouTube,
Yeah, but you were around the pros like when you were, I don't know, 8, 5. I remember like this little kid in Poland. But yeah, I think you guys have a great little, race scene and pro scene of top level competitors versus in California. If you went out in California now, I bet you, like, I don't think there's people windsurfing there anymore. Like nobody. Maybe 5 guys on the right day if you're lucky. And you go to, I don't know where your local beach is, but I remember tons of people windsurfing in Poland when I was there.
Yeah. But I think it's just the surfing thing, isn't it? Like in California, you just have world-class surf. And then like in Poland, in many of those places in Europe, windsurfing is the surfing, is the base kind of sport.
Yeah.
But whatever. Back to you. You get on tour in 96, 20 years old, if I'm correct.
That was 94 was my first year.
Ah, yeah?
Yeah.
So the internet is lying.
Yeah, well, it's before the internet, so they're just making it up.
Yeah.
But,
So you get there 18 years old, actually.
yeah.
What kind of tour did you arrive to? What were you thrown into?
I think it was right when they were changing, like from the PBA to the PWA, and there was the course racing, slalom, and wave riding, and it was all, you could do the overall as well. So that was pretty yeah, it's like going from just all these, there's a ton of good guys too, because there's so many disciplines, there's more money in it than now. So I think it's pretty, like coming from like knowing a little bit, you know, because I came to Maui 2 or 3 times before I went on tour and stuff. So it was, you know, you go and your first time to Pozo, I mean, you know how that feels. You're like, huh? And you look at it and you're going to do some wave riding on this. You're like, where's the waves? And wow, there's a lot of wind here, you know? So yeah, it's pretty, pretty eye-opening when you know, the first, I think my first, well, I did the Maui contest was probably my first like big event, but still once you go to Europe and you're in Pozo and stuff for the first time, it's pretty eye-opening, that's for sure.
Yeah, and silt as well.
So,
Yeah, but what kind of vibe what was it like? Because our generation gets told all these stories that it was just rock and roll, cash, you know,
well, I think
partying.
I was at the end of that sort of thing. So I was, you know, the tail end of the good money, I would say. And I was also probably like, me and my brother were probably the first of the starting to be the hardworking, you know, like I would say I didn't have all the talent like Josh and, you know, all those guys, where I just came and I just started training, and it was like one of the first guys to really start taking it seriously and start testing the gear and you know, going, not partying actually. Like me and Matt, when we were first at it, we never partied and we were just on it training all the time, and that's probably what got us to where we were. So, but there's definitely parties, and you know, as we got older, definitely, you know, had some fun, had our fun times. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of run, so you entered the tour kind of right in the middle of Bjorn's domination. Was that always the target? Like, look at Bjorn, you know, he's training hard, he's fit, he's big, whatever. He might be, you know, not training as hard later on or whatever, but you know, he's dominating. You know, was that always like, okay, let's take him down?
Probably not, like definitely not the first year, maybe the second year a little bit, but then once we started figuring it out, you know, then it was like, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, that was definitely the goal, to beat him. And you know, we were still having fun doing it, but we were focused, and we were, you know, working hard to beat him for sure.
Yeah. So in '98 you finished 5th overall. '99 you finished 2nd. When did you start believing you could actually? Because it's like, I don't know, from my personal experience, this thing about like believing before good stuff happens is really, really hard, you know? So there is a moment where you're actually, shit, I might actually be able to do it, you know?
Well, I don't know. You know, like in '99, I was super close to winning. Like, I don't know what the point situation was, but it, you know, it was like a couple points. And then in 2000, my gear was just so amazing. It was, I had such an advantage. I didn't even have to believe. I just had to show up pretty much. You know, I had custom gear and it was so good and nobody else could get it. And, you know, part of that, I think, was part of the fun, was being able to use that part of your mind to develop like constantly. Like we'd go to a race and, you know, something didn't feel right. We'd go back, we'd test, we'd, you know, recut our sails, do this and that, and come back and dominate again, you know? And for me, that was like half the fun, was getting that creative side. Like, oh, let's try putting more carbon on our front ends of our booms. And then, you know, we do that. And then dominate, and then the next race, all the other guys would do that, and then we were just one step ahead all the time. And then a lot of guys got pissed off because we had access to do that, and that's where the whole production thing kind of started, was with us just, we were always, every race, we were building new sails, building new boards. And like, I wasn't one of the guys who came with like 30 boards. I usually came with 3 boards, and that was it, because we were always traveling from here. I'd usually have a backup of probably each of them, but still just 3 race boards. And that's what I would use, So it wasn't like this full huge equipment thing, but it was just the creative part that I enjoyed, the testing and being able to get your gear. And then towards the end of my career, when it went all production, if you didn't have your stuff figured out before the season, you're pretty much done. And that was always kind of it just, lessened my motivation to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It must be amazing that you can just go back after every event and just, okay, new stuff. Because it gets you, anybody that, well, I don't think many people that will listen to this have worked in R&D, but it's such a nice drive to get on the water,
Right. It gives you like, after, 10 years of doing it or whatever, it gives you that motivation, because you're like, oh, let's try this, let's try that. Oh, no, that didn't work. Oh, that did work, or whatever. And, I had my brother to test stuff with, and we were just always pushing, and yeah, it was definitely a good era for sure.
Yeah. And once we're there, we have to talk about one person that I think, many people give a lot of credit with your success as well.
Uh-huh.
When did you first meet Phil McGain?
He was definitely early on with like him and Matt started to hang out, and then when I came on the tour, they were already hanging out. So that's kind of how we met up. So yeah, and again, he was definitely a great mentor of testing and also just the seriousness of it and not going out and partying or whatever. But Matt and I both, we weren't really super into partying, so we fit well together. And yeah, he definitely helped me along, and we developed all the gear together, and it was definitely a good time. Good energy of working towards a goal, for sure.
Yeah. How instrument, like, would you say it would take you a little longer if Phil wasn't there, or it would, be completely
I mean, sure, he's definitely a huge help to, where I wanted to go. But at the same time, like, Matt and I would say Matt would be more instrumental than him, just because we were brothers and we worked hard and we sailed hard, and having Phil come on and just give his expertise to us definitely, fast forwarded the whole project, for sure.
Yeah. And that whole thing of the team kind of coming along with you, Matt, Phil, and Scott Fenton, if I'm correct, that
was
must
awesome.
have been...
we trained together, we tested together, we bounced ideas off each other. We were all focused on winning, and yeah, I'm sure when you're hanging out with other people that are better than you start getting better. It's just the way it works. So, and yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So then, after you almost win in '99, I don't know if I have that timing right, because you were actually, all you guys were on Neil Pride, right? With Barry being the designer. Kind of a little bit of a competitive vibe there between Barry and Nils, I guess, in Neil Pride.
Yeah.
Nils Rosenblatt. And then at one point, Neil Pride offers you like a huge contract, but it's
Yeah.
just you. No
Yeah.
Barry, no Phil, no Matt, no Scott, basically.
Yeah.
Kevin Pritchard, not the team.
Yeah.
Take us through that. First of all, you could, if you want to spill what the contract was. If not, I don't mind. But take us through that decision process. That, you know, you got the money, you got your boys, and it might sound in retrospect like an easy call, but
Yeah.
holy shit, it's not.
No, it was, well, actually, I didn't really hesitate that much because I believed in the system that we had going, you know. Barry, who, you know, awesome sail designer, you can't take anything out of that. And then we just had this synergy. And then Neil Pride, I think they put $250,000 for me to go sign with them for 1 year. Or, I mean, it was just $250 a year. And I turned it down to go, basically, I think, I don't know, I want to say I was like 30,000 or something like that to go sign with these guys, you know. And you're looking back on that, and like, you were the guy. You're like, you're the next guy to beat Bjorn. We'll put all our eggs in your basket, or you can go, you know, for no money and be with your friends and take, you know, take them to a world title with somebody else, you know. So it wasn't easy. And I remember, like, after that, like the next year we started working with Gastra, and I just, like, the loft we moved into didn't have a plotter and stuff like that, and I was up, or the plotter wasn't working, so we couldn't build like custom sails on Maui, and so we had to get old sails and we were recutting them, and I was just like working on this stupid plotter, like trying to get it to plot out all the panels so we could make custom sails, and I just, you know, I remember a couple times just losing it, like, why did I take this? Because, you know, we just didn't plug it in and have the same sails we had in Neil Pride. You know, we had the different parts, different cambers, different this, you know, and you just can't snap your fingers and, you know, make lighter cambers, make, you know, different parts and stuff. So it took a full year of like struggling. I think, I don't know what place I got. Maybe I got second with the first year at Gastro, maybe not, I can't remember. But I remember just like, what am I doing? And then, you know, we probably had some little arguments amongst ourselves, like, I want new sails and you guys are off, you know, doing something else. And that really irritated me, but we worked through it. And then the next year our sales were unbelievable. And so then the ball started rolling and we did okay out of it. So
Yeah. Who was, because you were on big boards at that time,
yeah.
which is obviously back then it didn't really mean much except the logo.
Yeah.
Who was actually shaping your boards?
This guy named Mike Zychek was in 2000. He was shaping the boards, and he was from like the Czech Republic, I think, and he lived in San Francisco, but he made some awesome boards, super light. I still have one under my house. I still have the 2000 board that I won on. So it'd be kind of funny to take it out and have it go. I bet you it's pretty fast still. But yeah, his boards were awesome. And this, you know, and we were, again, you know, he was in San Francisco, and so nobody from Europe really could get him, you know. A couple guys kind of caught on and got some, but yeah, it's pretty, like, our boards were like, I don't know, 8 kilos, something like that, or just ridiculously light back then, you know. It's like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, probably 8 kilo on a course board and then like 5 on a slalom board or whatever. But people that are into kiting will go like, whoa, Mike Zychek was shaping windsurf boards, because now Mike's lab is like by far the best kite foil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like basically without a mic slab, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed. You're not gonna be competitive.
Wow.
It's that
Yeah.
bad, you know.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what it was like. Like in 2000, I remember just starting anywhere I wanted, upwind, downwind. Like I was, not half the size of Bjorn, but almost. And I was just rolling over the top of them at ease. And you're just like, wow, this is insane. So it was pretty cool year to go and just, you have those hardships of like, just why didn't I just take the money? I could have been easy sailing on Neil Pride, and then to just keep working away to getting the sales and the tools that you need to win. And then
It is pretty funny because it sounds like you could have had Neil Pride, you could have had, I don't know, Alex Aguera boards, you could have had stuff that is proven to be really good, yet you chose a totally different path.
Yeah.
And actually, took the risk and succeeded,
Yeah.
hugely, so I think this is quite inspirational, because many, I think in any sport that is with gear, with equipment, many people think like, to win, I need to be on Neil Pride, or I need to be on North's Duotone, sorry, or whatever, and I think your thing shows that it's.
Well, I think too, like going back to Phil and Barry, those two guys, Barry had designed sails for Bjorn for the past, 10 years. So his track record wasn't slouch, he knew what he was doing. And, the key thing was just that we were all working hard at the same time. That was the, most important thing to keep the whole train going, so, which we somehow managed to do for a couple of years. So it's good.
Yeah. How do you feel? I read an interview from, I guess, 2000 or 2001. How did you feel about all these notions that Bjorn wasn't taking it seriously, Bjorn didn't train hard, or you guys team raced to even beat him? It's like kind of people playing it down. I find it really strange because I thought once you have this guy dominating the sport, everybody's crossing fingers for somebody to beat him and make it interesting again, right?
Yeah.
Yet then you come and it sounds like a lot of people were, I don't know, playing it down somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I know that when I did beat him, he did care, I mean, anybody that wins 12 or 13 times in a row cares about winning, and he was a machine, and we all know that he's an amazing athlete. And when you're that type of level athlete, you care. You're trying your hardest, you're doing your best, and so yeah, that didn't really come through to me. And two, plus I'm like, I don't care. I just won after him dominating for 12 years in a row. So
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares?
But it must have stunk that he didn't even, or at least on that interview, you said Bjorn didn't even acknowledge you, didn't even shake your hand, didn't even say, good job.
He'd been so used to winning for so long. He was pissed, and that's fine. But he's always been like, kind of a strange cookie, or maybe it's just me too. I'm like always been intimidated by him, and it's your childhood hero you're looking up to, and then you beat him, and you're like, this is like back in '88 when I first went to the gorge for that first race. He was there winning, so to finally beat him, and that was it was awesome.
Yeah. How did that change you?
I don't think it changed me that much, just, I guess it gave me more momentum. And like you said, you know, kind of once you start knowing that you can win, you start winning more. And I don't think it changed me really. You know, as the time goes on, you know, my brother stopped doing the tour. That was probably the biggest change, you know, like, okay, now I don't have my brother here and I'm still, you know, doing good on the World Cup and winning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he stops doing that. And then, yeah, that was kind of probably the most, you know, once he stopped doing it, then I was like, oh, I'm going to keep going. And then you have to make new friends and new people to travel with. And so it's kind of a big change.
Yeah. Yeah. He stopped doing the racing first and he kept doing, he won the freestyle and won a bunch of Super X titles.
Yeah.
As well. But I guess as you were kind of on the slalom and the waves more, right? So
yeah.
So
exactly.
you guys
We had a couple good Super X races, you know. I think I actually beat him once that ruined him winning the world title or something like that. But that's just the way it goes, I guess, you know. So he got injured a couple times and that slowed him down a bit. And then,
yeah, he still won, I think, the very last slalom in Pozo. That was like 15 rounds. I think Matt still won the event. So that was pretty insane. But
those were some hardcore racing, that's for sure.
Is it fair to say, to divide your career kind of in two parts, like up until, you know, winning that 2000 overall title, and then kind of, you know, from there you're not the underdog anymore, you're always the favorite, yet there's some sort of monkey off your back? And I don't know, from all these videos, from all these magazines, from anything that I remember I could find while preparing, it kind of seemed like, you know, there's the laser focused, the team effort to take down Bjorn. Once that happens, it's more like, you know, Kevin Pritchard doing whatever he wants, you know, and kind of competing, but it's more, you know, monkey off the back type thing, you know?
Yeah, I don't know about monkey off the back, but I think just, yeah, I definitely feel like I had, like you said, a little bit of the two career things. Like probably in 2005, I think probably that's right around when Matt might have stopped competing, or 2000. Well, no, actually 2006. But 2006, I was kind of on my own when I won the Wave World title, and I was doing, I don't know if Matt did the full tour, or just maybe that's when he won Pozo. I think that, like, he didn't go to Cabo Verde, he didn't do the Wave thing, and I won the Wave tour kind of without him, and that was kind of a change for me personally. Like, I won in 2000 with the full support, full team, Barry, Phil, all those guys, and then in 2006 I won. Phil wasn't doing any of the stuff, and it was kind of just me. First year of Maui sales, I think that was, and Phil was off doing something, who knows what, and I, you know, kind of won it on my own. And so that, for me, that was kind of a cool thing of just something that's totally, it was totally different. So
yeah,
kind of, I was having more fun. I was, you know, going to parties, doing things like that, and winning at the same time, which versus like in 2000, it was none of that. It was just like full focus on. So.
Yeah. You mentioned, I need to jump on this segue a little bit, because you mentioned Maui sales, and you were one of the founders, weren't you? I think not many people know that. Yeah. And then it quickly turned into, not the most healthy situation, I guess, between you guys. So what happened there?
I mean, again, it was a sort of another same situation where Gastra said, hey, we'll take you and Matt and Phil and Barry. I don't know if Scott was still involved then, but Phil and Barry, we don't want to work with you guys anymore. So again, it was like, and we had a great deal with Gastro. We had a great thing going with it. I don't know why that happened, but, and again, I turned down the money to stay with Gastro and to go with Phil and Barry. And then, so we did that. We put our heart and soul into it and getting the brand going and doing all this stuff and lots of work. And yeah, and then as it kind of unfolded, Phil had other obligations that he was doing, and he just wasn't putting in his full motivation, which the past 15 years I had with him, you know, his help and stuff. So, and I had a short window of making good money still. And so I just got frustrated, and finally I went back to Gastra and rode for them for a couple of years, and then started with Ezzy sales after that. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the end of my PWA sort of thing. I started with Ezzy, and then, yeah.
So you don't want to get into that? Okay.
No, I'm open. What do you mean?
Yeah, like what exactly happened there? Because I read like a thing like that this was the worst windsurfing experience of your life, and you shouldn't make business with your friends and things like that.
True, all true. But yeah, no, I was going to the events. I was spending all this money going to the events. I wasn't making any money. I was investing in it. And Phil and Barry were on Maui it was looking back, it was a difficult time for Phil. He was going through a divorce and all his energy was on that. And so I'm just there, like, not making any dollars, actually investing into the company, doing testing on my own, you know, just like out in La La Land. And for what? If my partners weren't doing their part of the deal, then what's the point?
Yeah,
And
so
yeah.
Matt, and then these guys probably just ran out of steam after 20 plus years of just grinding. Yeah.
So, you know, and yeah, I just the way it all went down was like not good, you know, like after 20 years and me turning down loads of money, as we talked about earlier, you know, and then the day I said I'm quitting, he comes over and gets all my sails from under my house, and I literally had nothing to sail on. Like, this is a friend that I've you know, put, you know, so much of my life and career into, and granted I got a lot back out of it, but just the way it went down, like that kind of stung, you know, after turning down money and, you know, whatever other opportunities to do that, and then you can't even go sailing the next good swell day. I just didn't like it. So.
Wow.
But you live and learn, and you know, that's what he believed, and that's fine. And you move on, and you go from there. So
did you guys ever clean the air?
Not really, you know, that kind of just burned my bridge with them. And you know, I say hi and he says hi at the beach, but that's about it. You know, it's like, what's the point after you put, you know, maybe he feels the same way about me, you know, like he gave me his knowledge, and like you were saying, so many of the people, you know, attribute it to him, and he definitely helped me win a world title for sure. So I'm not taking that away from him, but just the way it ended, I didn't appreciate it, and so that's how it ended.
That's crazy. You did have some insane moments with Maui sales, though. One thing that really stuck with, I think, not only me, is that Cabo Verde 07, I think. That aerial, it must be like up there. It must be the biggest ever done in a contest. With the blue cross kind of Maui sail.
Yeah, that was probably the best event I've ever been to in my life, for sure, by miles. Starboard tack, it was the best conditions we've ever had that I've been in any contest, for sure. So that was definitely a good memory. That was one of the one spots I never won at. So I always had the Josh Angulo factor there that pissed me off, but
Yeah.
it's all good. So,
Who knows? Maybe you'll get a shot. Maybe.
I'm done.
Yeah, you're done, and then every year in the Aloha Classic, you're like top 4 at least.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was like one of the other, probably most memorable things is going from winning the Aloha Classic in 2000 and then winning it in 2016. Like that's pretty awesome to win it 16 years later, and you're like against these young kids and stuff. So that was pretty good moment in my path of life, I would say. Just it kind of felt good, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the Aloha Classic in 16, the Cabo Verde contest, winning in 06 on your own. Is there anything more that really stands out in that kind of second stage of your career?
I don't know. No, not really. Like those were definitely some of the moments. Portugal, I remember winning there, but yeah, I mean the last Aloha Classic, that was kind of blew my mind that I was like, even close to those guys. You see Brasilio and what he's doing now. It's just, I can sit there today or, on a good day and just watch him rip, and it just is like, it's insane. So it's pretty cool to see a guy like that just progress so much, and he's just unbelievable to watch, that's for sure.
Makes a lot of the top 10 wave riders in the world look quite bad, I have to say. It's insane, and we got so used to these edits on Instagram. It's just like
he busts it out. He can make an edit in like an hour, that will take somebody else like 2 months of filming, because I do filming stuff. Sometimes I film him and I'm just like, holy crap, it's insane. So it's pretty fun to watch. Pretty fun to watch his videos too, that's for sure.
Okay. Now that we went through all the kind of easy stuff, there's a hard question.
Oh boy.
The most known around the windsurfing world, and maybe you're gonna kill me for revealing this, but the most known, the theme Kevin Pritchard check-in or traveling story is that you guys just freaking printed out. You were printing out for a stretch of time baggage tags.
It was just one time, and it was in Fuerteventura, and yeah, we had like all these people that wanted bags going back to Maui because they were doing different stuff, and I ended up with 75 bags of people's bags and my bags and everything. We ended up printing them out, and we made one bag tag number. That was our problem, is we didn't make like different bag tag numbers. So every time the same bag tag number after 75 went through, they're like, what the heck? And then that's where the trouble came in. So that was a pretty wild experience as well.
Yeah. What was the trouble? Because there's various, the story grows as the years progress, the story grows.
Well, we printed them all out, and I got to Frankfurt, and I had a night layover, and I went down a baggage claim, and I just saw these bags just coming out the baggage claim, and I just took my handbag, just walked to the hotel, didn't even touch the bag. I was like, what am I gonna do with them? Went to the check-in at American the next day. I think actually I grabbed my clothing bag, grabbed my clothing bag, went to the hotel, spent the night, got to American, checked in. You have any bags, sir? Yeah, I got this one bag. Checked it in, got on the plane, went back to Maui. I get to Maui and like 20 bags show up because we had the whole thing on. Didn't check in one bag on American. All of a sudden 20 bags come. I'm like, this is insane. You know, I thought I'd have some sort of dealing. Next day, get a call, oh, another 20 bags come in. So we're like, this is great. Then the next day, 10 more bags come in, and then I get the call. Like, this is American Airlines. I'm on a conference call with the FAA, head of security, and we have a lawyer here from American Airlines as well. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. And so they just started talking. They're like, well, first of all, you used our logo, which is a breach of copyright. You checked in bags over international security, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, uh-oh. And they're like, well, we're going to call you back on Tuesday. We recommend you get a lawyer and be ready, you know? And so then they called back, and I didn't have a lawyer, and I just talked to him. I was like, yeah, we just lost our bags before. We wanted to make sure we had, you know, all the bags knew where to go and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then they ended up charging us like $2,500 for the storage, and then another $2,500 for the lawyer fees and all this stuff. But $5,000 for 75 bags, it was
Not
fine.
too bad, yeah.
Not too bad. I don't even think we lost one bag from that whole thing. Not one official American Airlines bag tag on any of the bags, and we got them all for $5,000 from Fuerteventura.
Okay, so all the stories that you got in real trouble with American, and this is all.
Nah.
So you still fly American, and you still get upgraded because of
Yeah, from time to time. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, yeah. So you played that down, that story. I thought it was like a procedure you guys been doing for 10 years, and then you finally got busted.
No,
you know, and
no.
that's
Like
how the stories grow. You know,
I
like
that.
right now the story is like the team, they've been printing out tags for 10 years, and then KP was flying, and then he got busted, put in handcuffs in Frankfurt, and then he got barely escaped, and he got banned for life from American Airlines. You know,
Yeah.
this is what the story says now. So I'm glad
like
you cleared that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back. You're on Gastra. The Maui sales thing kind of burns down.
Yeah.
And then 2010 was actually my first year on tour, and 2011, you after that year you decide to stop, even though you're well competitive. You're still winning finals, still doing podiums. That year maybe the gear wasn't the best, and the money was definitely shrunk by that time, right? But what was that process like to, okay, fuck this, you know, I'm here busting my ass for things that I've already done, and what was the process of like, it's time to move on?
Well, I don't really know, but the main thing was the Ezzy sales thing, and I used to be driving to the gym every morning, and I'd see David running. He'd be running every morning, and I'd be going to the gym, and I never talked to him. But I'm like, man, I'm gonna work for that guy one day. I just feel it, you know. He's hardworking. He's a straight arrow. I'm hardworking. I like to get the job done. I bet you I can work for him one day. So anyways, that goes on for a couple of years. And then, like, I don't know what happened with the Gasha thing. But anyways, I wrote to David, and it was just right at the time when, I don't know, but anyways, I wrote to him, and he's like, yeah, we need somebody. We want somebody to do the US stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, thought about it. And it was right when the IWT thing was starting up. And I'm like, I'll go to that event and do that. And do the tour and stuff like that for a bit. And yeah, and so he didn't make race sales. He didn't care about the tour, and he just wanted somebody to promote his stuff and test sales. And it was probably one of the better decisions I made of my career almost, it's been 10 years now, 10 years with Ezzy Sales, and I'm doing exactly what I love to do. I'm windsurfing every day. It's good. I'm testing gear, which I love to do. I'm taking photos of the gear, which I love taking photos and video. And, I get to, when Graham's here on Maui, I get to film him and make cool videos. We made some unreal videos like Tourists of the Sea and all this stuff on YouTube and Vimeo and stuff. And, it's like literally the dream situation. No pressure to compete. Just, go and do promotion stuff. And it was, I built up all that stuff, of knowledge and experience, and, people would trust me with what gear I was using and things like that. So it worked out amazing. And now I'm still being able to be like kind of a pro windsurfer and living the dream. So the guys at Ezzy have helped me so much and supported me, through doing this, and it's been a good working relationship. So I couldn't be happier with that.
Around that time, 2011 or 2010, maybe, I think it was my very first event on
Costa Brava.
Costa Brava, exactly. And Ross Williams was coming with his girlfriend, so he was selling his free accommodation, and
you had to stay with me.
I knew those guys from when they were coming to Poland, so I bought his free accommodation. And looking back, I'm like, oh my God, if somebody, like, I'm not a multiple world champion, but if some kid treated me the way I treated you, I would have fucking killed him. Like, I think it was like...
Me or the way I treated you?
No, the way I treated you.
Oh, okay.
You're like this freaking 30-something-year-old multiple world champion, and I'm like 18. And I think it was myself and Gonzalo in one room sharing. There was another room. There was another room with somebody. I don't remember. In this one hut, in this one little wooden hut. Yeah, and then what was left for you, because you arrived last minute, was the floor in the living room.
Oh,
it's insane. If I think about it, you must have. I don't know how you put up with that kind of stuff. And then you were jet lagged, and me and Gonzalo were snoring like like crazy. And then I wouldn't do my washing up. And if I look, like, I never thought of myself as arrogant, but that must have been so bad, like so bad,
I don't remember it, so it's fine. I don't remember you being so bad. I just remember the time of, I just remember you probably like, oh, what is this guy doing? We were probably thinking both the same thing. Like, here's this world champ dude sleeping on the floor. What's he doing?
Yeah, and I had a million questions, and yeah, so from the bottom of my heart here publicly, sorry for that week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then you move on. So now that we got this out of the way, then you move on. You do the Ezzy thing. Yeah. I needed. I needed that.
Okay. Good.
You move on, and you really got into filming, right? And filming and producing content with Johannes, whatever, Maui Nerd Productions, and you actually even produced 2 shows that got on TV. Was that something that was always in you, this artistic creative side that you mentioned, or was it just like buy a camera and it just spiraled?
Well, the main reason for getting into it was through Maui Sales, actually. And we were getting new products, and then we were like hire an Eric Ader, and every time we needed a shot, even if it was like shot of a, you know, a boom end or something like that, it'd be $1,000. And I'm like, and we needed a lot, you know, because we were just starting out. And I'm like, why don't we just buy a camera? We can do this. So I bought a camera, ended up taking my first shot, and I'm like, oh, this looks like crap. And I just started getting into it, you know, like trying to take a good shot of a batten end piece, you know, and you're like, you know, when you're first there, you just take a picture and then it looks like crap. But then to try to make it look good, you kind of got to get, and I read up on all these books and all the stuff. And so that was a, you know, a great benefit of, you know, owning a company and whatever. And I just started like taking all the pictures, and that's how I got into photography. And then, yeah, then fast forward to this next section of my career. And Johannes, I saw this video on Facebook, and I wrote to the guy, I'm like, how do you make that video? I said, if you come to Maui, if you get a ticket to Maui, I'll put you up in the room, and we can like free room and board, and we'll make a little clip, and it'll be fun. And he's like, okay. And you know, he came over, and he's staying in the spare bedroom, and we just started talking, and I'm like super into all these different mounts, and he comes from this corporate world, and you know, everything by the book, German style. And I'm like sending my Canon camera down this, we made like these cable cams and stuff, and he's just like, this guy's insane. And so we ended up just having a great time, and then we started working together, and then we started just traveling together. We went to Vietnam we did the show for ESPN Asia. We did 2 30-minute shows, produced it, direct, whatever you call it. No clue what we were doing, you know, a little bit. But. And then we worked for Red Bull doing stuff, went to Aruba and did a, you know, film down there and all sorts of stuff, you know. So that was, you know, so much fun just being still in the sport, but I put so much pressure on myself for so many years that to go and be at the events without any pressure was a lot of fun, you know. So that was definitely, I mean, for me personally, it was probably the most fun was these last 10 years or so of just creating stuff, being able to dream and create, like, you know, videos and actually make it happen. It's pretty dang fun. So you're good at editing and stuff like that, so you understand how it it's pretty cool, like, you know, put everything together, put all the pieces together and make it look good.
Yeah, I'm just terrible at filming, and then you need to also get somebody to film you and whatever. But
Yeah.
how would you compare the satisfaction of creating something from scratch, from zero, to winning a contest? Like, it's such different worlds,
Yeah.
but it's in a way some sort of a similar feeling, isn't it? It's like,
Kinda, but no, I don't think so. I think it's, you know, you have an end goal, which is similar, but I mean, actually, you know, like when you're filming events and stuff, there's a certain pressure to get that shot, you know. But just being creative, you know, there's probably people way more creative than I am, but I don't know. One of the things that drew me into it, though, was trying to show or expose what it felt like, you know, like what did it feel like to bottom turn, and try to capture that more so than just, you know, guy out there shooting, but shooting with a passion, you know, and trying to show more what it felt like and show the different aspects of windsurfing and what it felt like to me, and try to get that onto the screen. That was kind of my goal of the whole thing.
did you tell Brazinho, like, his edits are absolutely amazing, but there's not much videography, let's say, in there? Like, it's so insane, the action. And if you think, like, could put some of that, you know, that Kevin Pritchard / Maui nerd /
Yeah.
whatever artistry in there, it would be like, absolutely insane.
Yeah, he is so insane. Yeah, unbelievable. He doesn't need it though. His stuff is so good. He doesn't need it. Your mind is blown when you watch him windsurf. And the worst thing is like he's got no major sponsors. Like that's what I tell him. And like he's good looking, he's unbelievable. But why doesn't he have like a Red Bull or something? Just anything. You have more sponsors than he does.
Yeah, but my sponsors are like €5 each,
Yeah, no. But anyway, that guy is amazing. We did some videos like Marshall Islands together and stuff. So I was thinking about that when I saw his last video. Like, oh, I'd like to make a video with you. It'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I saw the Jaws one and I wrote him, can I please re-edit that?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, if I think like there could be a windsurfing movie that would be just so mind-blowing to anyone, not interested or not interested, whatever,
It'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah. I hope you guys get on it. So aside from Brasilio, when you see windsurfing today, what do you see? Because you're so much involved still, but things have changed dramatically.
What do I see? Yeah, I mean, I still enjoy watching it and like doing it. Ricardo, he's up there. Victor Fernandez, those, I would say Ricardo and Brasilio are probably my two favorites to watch just because they're insane. And, then everybody else has their own different style, which is fun to watch. And, I watched a lot of Graham, wave riding, and his wave riding is, so different and different view, which is awesome. Different lines that he takes, which is cool. And, it's just, when I see them jumping and stuff, it's just like, wow. And then there's this freestyle kid I saw on Instagram. He's doing this thing on North. I don't even know the name. It's just recently posted on the PWA thing. It's just like this thing. Oh, I love that. I wish I could do freestyle. It just looks so insane, like those air chacho things where you go up and then reverse and stuff. It just blows my mind. I love it.
What's next for Kevin Pritchard?
I don't know. I'm in a pretty good spot right now. Just kind of hanging on to this and seeing how long this can keep going. Working with David and Graham, and then after that, I don't know. Like I was just saying to you, as a windsurfer, you learn all these skills. So I'm not too concerned about it. Figure something out, and you put a lot of time into your career and how much goes into it. So if you just to change to be a banker or something like that, I can't really see that happening. But we'll see. I think I'm in a good spot right now, and just kind of taking it one day at a time.
That's great to hear. Great, really good. Okay, so we have this little quick fire segment that we finish off. Usually we ask all the people the same questions.
Yeah.
So let's do this. What are your pet peeves?
Oh man, you know what my pet peeve is right now is this American president election talks. It just drives me insane. So that's definitely a pet peeve. What is it? The presidency or whatever it is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. How many times a day do you pee your wetsuit?
Well, I'm in Maui most of the time, so not often. But I wasn't really a peer in my wetsuit. I kind of just pee before I go in, and then I don't really like it too much.
You never pee your board shorts in Maui?
Oh yeah,
Same.
my board shorts, but a dry wetsuit, yeah, I don't know. In silt, I remember some of those long days where you're just like, whoo. Yeah, I don't know.
Nice and warm for a while.
Yep, nice and warm.
What is your guilty pleasure?
I like a good couple drinks at night. That's my guilty pleasure. Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception about you?
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to it, so who knows?
Your top 5 windsurfers of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, obviously Robbie Nash, Bjorn. I guess Jason Brazinho. Who else would be up there? I guess Antoine.
There you go. That's a 5. Hell of a 5.
Yep.
Who's the most underrated windsurfer of all time?
Underrated windsurfer of all time. Underrated. I don't know. I don't know. I think I was pretty underrated. You know, I had good results, but I was never like, oh, the best windsurfer. Like if you ask, probably I don't know how many people you've asked that, but I doubt there was my name that came up there on the top 5 of very many. But who knows? I don't know. Most underrated.
Yeah, Kevin Pritchard. There you go.
Yeah.
If we were to put obstacles in slalom, is it cool or not?
You know, the best thing about that was when you could be going down the last leg and you still wouldn't know who would win the race, you know, with the jump. The jumping really didn't make a difference. It was the freestyle move, like in the Super X. So I would say unless you're going to put in a move, no. Don't put in a jump.
Beach starts though, yes or no?
I like beach starts, yeah.
One spot you'd have to sail, this might be too easy. One spot you'd have to sail every day for the rest of your life.
Just the sailing would probably be Cabo Verde.
Yeah, but you have to be there every day.
There. You said sailing. I mean, Maui, I don't think the sailing's that great here, but the whole package is definitely the best spot to be.
Worst excess baggage bill or check-in story?
I think we kind of went over it. That was pretty bad, but there's been a lot. I can tell you that. There's been a lot. You know, the Germany, we had a lot of good check-ins, a lot of bad check-ins. So
yeah. What's the furthest you ever traveled specifically to see a girl?
To see a girl. I don't know. I always send them here, so make them travel.
It's a good tactic.
Yeah.
Who was your worst competitor? The person you hated to compete against?
You know, I think it was Josh Stone, actually. He would always, in the weirdest times when I would I would know that could beat him, and he would just beat me. And it pissed me off so much. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Well, there's a funny story about that is that we, I think in 2008, I want to say, or 2000, maybe it was 2009, we were in Brazil, and he had lost he was doing terrible in the ranking in the waves, and I think he maybe even lost first round or something, and he was just like sailing around, he was partying, not a care, and he came up against me, and he just went out and he just destroyed me. And all I needed was to beat him, and I would have won the world title. Like, that's how close it was. And so like 10 years later after that, he threw my 30th birthday party. Maybe it wasn't 10 years, but whatever. He threw this 30th birthday party, and like all of Paia came. He's like, okay, dreams are like, what did he say? Broken dreams mended, because he broke my dreams of being a world champion. And he threw me a big birthday party. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Strippers, the whole 9 yards. It was awesome.
Luckily, you won a couple ones before that.
Yeah. Josh and Gulo too. Did I get two? Josh, we had some fun times in
He mentioned you, I think. He said you.
Yeah.
And he said that you snaked a wave off of him, that deep down, in some heat somewhere, that deep down, it was his wave.
Deep down, he knows it was my wave, but he organized the event. He deserved the wave. It was my mistake to think that I should have ridden my own wave. That was my mistake. He threw the event. He was the boss there. It was my mistake that I could ride the wave that I rightfully got.
That's great. Last but not least, who do you want to hear on our little show?
On the show, yeah. I don't know, who have you done so far?
Done Brasinho, done Josh, done a bunch of people. Craig Gertenbach from the industry. Anders recently.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'd be cool to either do like Filmmaking or my brother to kind of balance out the stories, see how it came together from their point of view and how it went apart from their point of view. I think, Matt, he's probably been out of the limelight sort of for a long, couple of years longer than me. So, and he still rips and stuff. So that'd be kind of interesting to see, compare the notes,
Yeah, Matt's story might be quite aligned with yours, but Phil's might be a little different view.
I don't think so. Yeah, but maybe. You never know.
Yeah, I don't think he would ever agree, but we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, ask him. Ask him if he came over and took my sales the same day. I think he'd agree. But all good.
Yeah, thanks, KP. I really appreciate it.
Right on. It's bedtime. It's Maui midnight over here, 9:30.
Yeah, it's breakfast time here, 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, good luck with your stuff. Like, I saw you in Denmark killing it. I was always excited for me to see this punk kid in Costa Brava, and then he's up on the podium. So keep doing it, keep charging. And it's pretty impressive for me to see you come and just be slogging in the back for so long and then break through like that. So that's pretty impressive that somebody can persevere and keep going. And then, like for me, I kind of just went straight on and it was all good. And I didn't have to persevere.
Yeah, it makes me feel really bad when I saw that you were like in 2000, you were 24 and you just beat Bjorn after 12 years of
How old are you now?
domination. I'm 28 and I'm just starting to scratch the surface now, but that's what's cool about it. It's just different stories for different people. And I might not ever reach the success you've had, definitely not in the waves or whatever, but
Well, you look at Antoine, he's still going. How old is he? 50?
47. 47. And I think he didn't start winning until his 30s, so it's so different. Like, he's older than you.
Yeah.
Steve Allen's still going. He can barely walk and he's still going. So yeah.
I'm spoiled over here in Maui, just wave sealing every day, having a good old time. These guys are, schlepping their gear around through airports.
They love it though. They do it because they love it.
That's right. Good on them.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, mate.
Appreciate it too.
Take care.
See ya.
I told you it was a banger. I told you it was a banger. Some absolute nuggets in that one. Give us a like if you liked the video. And also, if you want to keep these podcasts coming, if you're watching every week and going, oh, I can't wait for the next one, and you haven't chipped in some beer money, come on, come on. You've got to support it like you would support an old magazine. That's how we're running this thing. Maciek's doing a great job, and we're trying to pump out the videos also on the channel as well. So, like I said, beer money, you know it makes sense. Keep the channel alive. It's been a tough year. We're obviously here in Silver Planet. I don't know if you can see behind me. We're going to be covering the IQ European. So first look at the Olympic class, foiling, Formula Foil as well. So, yeah, get involved. Give us a like if you liked it, and I'll put other videos up the top. You can click on those other podcasts if you've not watched them. All right, see you soon.